What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here today to talk about resetting our expectations for the sports card market. I think things have gotten a little out of whack, and I think not everybody, but I think a lot of people need to kind of reread the room, if you will, and reset some expectations. Before we get into that, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to check out the Market Movers affiliate link and the eBay affiliate link. With all that being said, let's get into it. So we're just going to have a little chat today, just a little chitty chat about resetting expectations. I think a lot of people came into this during the everything just keeps going up phase. And the market doesn't work like that anymore. The easy money is still there, but it's a lot harder to find, if that makes sense. Like, you could definitely still make money doing this, and you can make a lot of money doing it, but it's become harder. The last 5 months have shown us that it's become more difficult. Not every card just goes up anymore. The market is definitely softening. Is it crashing? Are we in the middle of a crash right now? We could be. You don't really know until after the crash happens. It's not like there's a big sign that says crash happening now. But a lot of people came in when this was very simple. You bought a card for $5 or $10. You could send it off the PSA for $20, get a PSA 10, and then sell it for $150 or $200. I remember making videos when the channel first started, or early, not when it first started, but in the early days, which was like late last fall, talking about, and I did it, buying paper Don Russ Zions for $20, sending him a PSA on economy for $20. So you're in the card for $40. If you caught a 9, you could sell it for about $40 or $50. You'd break even, maybe even 60, depending on the market that given week. You basically break even on a 9. On a 10, you could sell it for, I think it was like 125 to 150, maybe even 170 at one point for his PSA 10 paper Don Russ. And you could buy these things all day long for about 18, 19, $20. So you were into the card for $40, you got a 10, and you tripled up. That's not happening anymore because of the grading fees, the time it takes to grade. That's changed the landscape. And also, people are a lot smarter now. The market is smarter. It is hard. People are getting smarter to not buying when a guy goes crazy, understanding pop counts and what they mean in the market. Having tools like Card Ladder, Market Movers, Card Hedger, Card Genie Pro, whatever. Shoots and ladders. Pick whatever one that you want. You know, I've always said, if you're taking this remotely seriously, you need to be using one of these data tools. They're extremely important. They save you so much time and give you a lot of information. The easiest way I could basically say it is they're not going to give you the answers to the test, but it's like sitting down with a TI-86 Plus for the test. You still need to put the right information in to get good data out, but it's a time saver. There's those that exist now that didn't exist a year and a half ago, or even a year ago. You know, Market Movers was in its infancy a year ago. You know, we had the pandemic, stimulus checks, people spending less money because they weren't going anywhere. Everyone cooped up inside. The world has reopened, and the card market is correcting. Maybe even crashing. Who knows? Like I said, this could be the crash right now. You know, I have Luca's base prism up on the screen right now. This chart goes from October of 2019 through the middle of May, through today. I'm recording this on May 12th. You know, it's down to under $1,000 now. I think the last dot is 980. You know, when you look at this, where does that price have to get to for it to be considered a crash? I don't think it's going back to the $72.63 days back on October 17th. Does anyone really think a Luka-based Prism's going back to that point? Would that be, if it got back to that point, then are we calling it a market crash? You know, where's the crash? The card's lost half its value from its all-time peak. Now, it got to $2,000, over $2,000 for like a day and immediately came back down again. And then it got back up near that level right before the season started this year. But when you zoom out on a chart like this, you see the peaks and valleys. You know, here it is back in the early 2019. He came out the beginning of that season. If you don't remember, he was dropping triple doubles left and right. And it went from around $150 up to $250. What did it do? The same thing that always happens. It's happening now. He couldn't maintain that pace, obviously. The card dipped back down again. We get into late March. And this is where the sports card market took off. Before the pandemic even happened. People forget that. People always say the pandemic caused the card market to go crazy. The card market was already heading that direction. Look at Luka's prices spike here in early March before the NBA shutdown. NBA shutdown happened, it dropped, leveled out, and then slowly started ticking its way back up and then got nutty last summer. This is the crazy times. August of 2020 is when everyone lost their mind. Anyone that bought in last year up until early August only ever saw cards go up. Then they saw them go way up for a week or two, and then reality stepped in. And then they went up again before the NBA season started. And then the NBA season started, and there's been a major pullback. Now, we saw the same thing in the NFL. We saw the exact same thing in the NFL, and no one seemed to really talk about it that much. I've done multiple videos on it. The entire NFL market basically went down once the season started. The NBA market's just doing the same thing the NFL market did. You know, it's just falling a lot more, and I don't know about even a lot faster. But percentage-wise, it's probably down more than the NFL market is or was during the actual season. And you're going to see some players spike back up here in the NBA playoffs. But the NBA playoffs, and maybe I've been guilty of coming across this way as well myself, is not some magical elixir that's going to cure the entire market. Yes, certain players, certain cards, their prices are absolutely going to spike. But they're going to have to A, play well, and B, advance. So if you get bounced in the first round and you play like crap, your cards aren't going up just because you made the playoffs. You know, you're going to have to go all Donovan Mitchell or Jamal Murray like they did last year in the playoffs, where they were going nuclear night after night. But I think people need to sit back, reassess where they are, reassess the market, and realize, hey, you know what? You could still actually make quite a bit of money doing this. It's just not as easy as it was a year ago. I got to work a little harder for it. I got to be a little bit smarter for it. And I think what's actually happening is the old school cyclical patterns are beginning to adjust and fall back into place again. Where cards go up in the off season, they peak right before the season starts. Then there's a pullback, rinse, repeat. It's just a matter of how far you start buying early the season before. And yes, certain players that were undervalued to begin the season will have breakout seasons and their card prices will go up. See Embiid, see the Joker, etc. from this past season. Their card prices were pretty flat to start the season. They drastically outperformed expectations. Their card prices went way up during the season. Trae Young, Ja Morant, Luka, Zion, everybody else saw massive price increases before the season started. There was no way they could maintain those paces, and the prices have pulled back. Same thing happened in baseball. Soto, Tatis, and Acuna all went way up before the season started. Mid-March were most of their peak prices. The season started, they immediately started going back down again. Acuna got buoyed back up because he went literally nuclear. Tatis had the unfortunate injury. Soto was already trending down before he landed on the IL. Tatis came back, prices spiked back up again, and now are pulling back down again. Acuna is basically staying flat because he's gone out of his mind. Otani's gone up because he's gotten a ton of hype, but really, of the pre-season spring training guys, he's one of the few that have continued to go up, other than Acuna for a brief minute. Vlad Guerrero Jr. had a brief little spike for a hot minute there and then went back down again. So you're going to see these little spikes where guys get hot and then they go back down. There's going to be a window to flip players like that. The trick is not buying at the peak or what you think is the peak, and that's the hard part. And just in general, just being smarter about what you're buying. A year ago, you could have bought basically any NBA, anything, graded it, and made a ton of money. Doesn't work like that anymore. There is still money to be made. It's just trickier now. It's not as easy. Will that cause some people to leave? Maybe. Will it cause some people to made poor decisions and bought Luka at $2K a pop or $1,500, $1,700, $1,800 a piece in the preseason to be upside down on that card? Yeah. They might have trouble getting back out of that for a profit as it basically continues to go down every single day. Now, if Luka has a massive playoff series, they win the first round and he's dropping 35 or 40 every night, his prices will go back up. I don't think we're getting to 2K again, not on his base prism. People are getting smarter about pop counts now. People are going for, colored cards, silvers, purples, blues, numbered cards. They still want, like, you could still flip base, but you got to be a lot smarter about it now. The market has gotten smarter and more intelligent. There are more things affecting it now from outside because the world's opening back up again. And like I said, maybe this is the crash. Maybe we're in it right now. Because when people throw that word around, the key question that I always ask is, what are we crashing back to? Are we crashing back to this? $75 for a Luka PSA 10 Prism? Or are we crashing back to $800 to $1,000? Or pre-pandemic $600? Or $900? Is this it? Is this the floor? The playoffs start this week. This stuff could easily spike back up to $1,500. They get eliminated, and then it comes back down again. And maybe bottoms out at around 900 and then sits there and starts slowly ticking back up again for the start of next season. We'll see. That card's going to be interesting because of the population count on it. Takes a lot to make that card go up. So there's still plenty of money to be made in this hobby / hustle / whatever you want to call it. But you got to work a little harder for it now. And I don't think people are realizing that quite yet. Some are. A lot are, actually. And, to the people that say the market's going to crash, the market is crashing, whatever, the market could be crashing right now. But when you hear that term thrown around, whether it's you throwing it around, if you're saying this is the end times or the end times are coming, I want you to follow it up with crash back to what? If it all falls apart, what is it crashing back to? That's all I got for you guys and girls today. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. If you want to make some purchases, make some plays, consider using the eBay affiliate link. If you want to check out Market Movers for yourself, the affiliate link and discount code for that are in the description as well, along with all my social media stuff, Instagram, Twitter, etc. We will catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.